This is the idea we had for armor a long time ago. The most important thing I suggested or was suggested in this whole document is the ability to pick your armor perks. You have 2 perks you can pick, and they can be whatever things you want. Because at the moment, I don't think that there's any armor perk in the game that is broken. There's some that are better than others to the point that they seem broken, but not broken on their own. They're not broken by just existing. I also don't understand why the devs are against the idea of people being able to pick armor perks in the first place. The reason why they are against it is because apparently Piles, the CCO, he wants people to be able to understand what their teammates are by looking at their armor. That's a medic. That's an engineer. That's a insert the other things. My thing is, at this point, I'm not sure what people are in the game. I see your armor, and I don't know what you're using in the first place. And even if I did know, the armor my teammates take plays next to 0 role in how I play the game. Their armor has net 0 impact on how I play the game, on their ability to help me. None of that. So I don't get the idea of having essentially a class system with armors when there is no impact from the class armor on your team at all. Instead, all that happens is I don't buy new armors because even though they look cool, I'm not going to wear them. The perks they have are not worth wearing in the first place. And the drip is not that drippy to be sacrificing what I've got going on, because in most cases, my cape blocks the majority of what I can see on my character in the first place. The only reason I'd buy armors is for thumbnails as a content creator. And even then, I don't buy armors. I probably should. Thinking about that, honestly. Man, I should be doing that. We'll go through the list real quick, which there's new ones now. But 50% chance to not die when taking lethal damage. Prevents all damage from bleeding if chest is hemorrhaged. You could have this as the same thing and put on armor, and I still don't think it'd be crazy. I still wouldn't take this over many other perks. You have medic. Increase initial inventory and holding capacity of stems by 2. Increase stem effect duration by 2. Now, I think that these effects are all separate. So I think that having +2 stems is its own benefit. Having increased stem duration is its own benefit. So it'd be 1 and 1. Makes 2 perks for medic armor. That's how I view it. In Democracy Protect's case, I think that these should be 1 perk. To be clear, like I don't think we should have medic as its entirety as an option. You should pick the stems or stem duration. That's how I view it. An idea would be is to give the game some kind of class system, like in Battlefield games, you pick your role on the ready screen. You have guts next to 6. I think it's better if the game isn't to the point that we need to do that yet. If the game was more challenging, I could understand having a class-based system where you have 1 person that's going to be the chaff clearer, maybe 2. You have an anti-tank player, and then maybe a support player as a teammate who focuses on bringing shields, bringing heals to the team, stims, supply backpack. Instead, the game is best played selfishly because teamwork is not incentivized the way that people always say it is. Not even close. So why try and build around things and why niche yourself down when instead you can take weapons that can kill everything? Granted, not all weapons are good at killing everything, but there are some builds you can take that can do that. Or builds that are close enough to doing that where you're playing the game more often. Because at the moment, if you niche yourself down, all you're doing is playing the game less. Warbond armor should have at least 2 armor passives. Oh, that's a given, 100%. Armor recently has been made to try and solve a problem that players have. So the arc armor. It probably wasn't made for that exact reason, but there was a time where folks used arc thrower pretty often before it got nerfed, and people were dying to arcs because it would arc wildly and kill their teammates. It had more range, so it happened more often. It fired faster, happened more often. They make arc armor that reduces damage taken by 95%. It should be 0, and it should also make it so you don't damage your teammates with the arcs. That's what it should be, that you take 0 damage and your teammates take either reduced damage by a lot or no damage. The flame armor. You take reduced flame damage by, 75%? It should be you take 0 fire damage from your own flamethrower. You can get hit by hulks, but you don't take damage from your own flamethrower if they can make that happen. Because this makes it to where you still have to pop a stem. If you take damage in this game, you have to heal. We get hit so freaking hard, especially with the recent limb damage increase, that if you don't stim, you're walking around essentially a one-shot if you're missing HP. So what does this actually do for a player? Basically nothing. But this is also made whenever folks were using flamethrower pretty often, and it doesn't solve any problems. They gotta give us that healing grenade. Oh, from the Roblox Dark Divers game. Healing grenade would be cool. My thing is, we die so fast, it wouldn't do anything. If you had a healing grenade down that wasn't giving you damage reduction, you die. You die almost instantaneously. Also, the votes are in, and you should be able to pick armor perks. I wouldn't even mind it if they made it so it increased your fire range or something like that. Like, I wouldn't be against the idea of having armor that increases your weapon's effective range in like the flamethrower's case. For arc thrower, it makes you charge your arc faster. I wouldn't mind that. That'd be kind of cool. It'd give me a reason to use the armor in the first. It'd give me a reason to use the armor and actually play around what the devs want me to do, which is use different armors for a purpose. Right now, armors just look different. Kind of all they do. Provides a higher armor rating at plus 50 armor. Like, nothing really here screams out saying it's brokenly OP. Like, if you view all these dots as their own perk, so in this case, 1 dot plus 1, 1 dot plus 1. Most armors have plus 2 because they have 2 dots, which are each their own perk. So if you could go down here and you could pick 1 bullet point from medic armor and then 1 bullet point from, what is this, peak physique? So we'll say like improve weapon handling with less weapon drag. Imagine having improved weapon handling and having an extra 2 stims, or improve weapon handling and extra stim duration. That'd be sick. And if nothing else, it also makes it to where you can take things such as reduce fire damage, which it should be 0 fire damage taken from your own fire, and having better handling. Now, the armor that only has 1 perk is still not useless because you can have 2 perks on an armor. And the system also means you can pick the drip you want to be. You can pick the look you're going for and not sacrifice quality of life. The thing is, people aren't sacrificing power in this game when you pick certain armor. You're sacrificing quality of life. That's what most of these perks are for. Because after all, what is improved weapon handling with less weapon drag aside from quality of life? It's just that. It's just quality of life. Further reduces recoil. The stim thing is, it's freaking good, but it just makes the game feel better to play. That's why I one-trick medic armor. Having a light armor with your skin showing, having fireproof would not make any sense. But like, who cares though? The amount of folks that care about that kind of thing is the most minute amount of players imaginable, which has been the case since the game came out. The people who like make those sort of arguments for it's essentially realism, they, I do not believe, make up anywhere close to even 20% of the game. What they want the game to be makes it less fun to play. It's been the case since the game came out, and it continues to be the case. The constant excuses as well. Constitution's a challenge gun, guys. Meanwhile, anytime we have a challenging mission, it gets removed or nerfed. Retrieve essential personnel. Challenging mission. One of the hardest missions in the game. Oh, it's impossible, guys. You can't beat it. It's called learning how it functions. You have 2 folks in the base, maybe 1 person in the base, rest of the folks outside the base getting samples. Mission's a breeze. And amazing for samples. Nope, too difficult, gets removed. Then we have the most recent Raise the Flag mission versus the automatons. That is ridiculous. If you don't bring Recoilless Rifle and Barrages and Sentries, which if you bring those 3 things, it is a cakewalk. It gets removed. Or it gets the difficulty reduced. So yeah, I don't really see the point in balancing towards excuses. I never will. Oh, I haven't, and I never will. I think balancing towards excuses just doesn't make any sense. Despite the fact this was some of the people from the first game, and the game is targeted towards Milsim with a bit of arcade aspects. This game, the reason why it's so popular is because folks that enjoy playing games because of the the craziness that happens. That's the reality. So it doesn't really matter who the game is for. It's more about who the game should. It doesn't matter who the game was for initially. It's about who the game is for now. It's not the Milsim nerds. They can kick rocks. Because the folks that are paying the bills are the people that enjoy playing video games for what video games are meant to be, which is fun. Realism, it's cute to a point. But once you get past the aesthetics of realism, and mostly on weapon design, like I'm talking make a weapon look cool, make it look realistic, whatever. But when you start trying to balance weapons around real life, whenever we have never had an alien invasion in the first place, so how do you know how weapons would function in an alien invasion? We don't. That's where things get really tricky, and it just becomes semantics for no reason. But I 100% believe that this game, the bills are being paid by the folks that enjoy fun. And the game needs more sci-fi weapons, for sure. Those are the coolest in the game. Railgun's my favorite gun in the game. Been that way even when it wasn't that good. I love the railgun. Quasar's pretty cool. The Purifier, the Scorcher, those guns are cool. Whether they're amazing or not. Because I think Scorcher's okay, but those guns just look sick. We need more of that going on in this video game for sure. Just because we're now the small group, we need to be quiet and suck it up. I mean, you can voice your concerns, but I'm just saying, like, what you want isn't what the game should do. Because what you want, essentially, is what killed the game. You know that, right? Like, focusing on realism, focusing on making things seem like it's real life, guys. Milsim, woo. When they were going down that route, it had the lowest player count. It was a steady line going this way, essentially. So yeah, I feel like history has shown that wanting that just makes no sense. But for some reason, Helldivers in general forget history. Like, after a month passes, they just forget what happened. Kind of weird. How do you know that realism killed the game and not bad balancing? Because they balance based off realism. Okay, these are goofy. I don't think I'm gonna read these. These are pretty goofy. So John Helldiver, after taking lethal damage, live with 1 HP, and this effect can't happen again for 2 to 3 minutes. Reduce damage taken when HP is below 25%. Experiment. Diving gives 0.5 seconds of iframes. Experiment. On death, sets off Hellbomb. Okay, that one's real goofy, but it'd be funny. Dr. House. Stims have a healing aura when used near teammates, increasing stim duration by 2 seconds. Experiment. Damage mitigation. Experiment. Resupplies give back all stims. Arc Trooper. 100% resistance to arc damage. Increased attack speed with arc weapons. And we have experiments. Immune to stuns. Arc weapons +1 arc. Range increase. So in this case, you actually get to buff your weapon. Mule Kick. Reduce weapon sway, recoil, and drag. Can carry 2 primary weapons. Replaces secondary weapon. Experiment. Can carry 2 support weapons. Like Eat 17 and so on and so forth. Reload stowed empty weapons. Save ammo when reloading. Berserker. Melee kills full heal. 200%. I feel like the full heal is kind of ridiculous. Melee kills heal 25% HP. 200% melee damage increase, because right now we get like 50%. It doesn't do a whole lot. And experiment. Kill streaks increase melee damage and movement speed. Melee kills increase damage reduction and reload weapons. Bomb Voyage. Increase throwing range by 30% and throwable damage by 25%. Resupply and ammo pickups give back all throwables, +2 throwable carrying capacity. And add-on. Show arc for projectiles when throwing. Sharpshooter. 10 to 30% increase weak spot damage. No flinch while aiming down sights. Experiment. Remove damage fall off. Pilot. Increases mech suit ammunition by 25%. Increased armor on mech suit. An experiment would be use stim to repair 20% of mech's health. Can bring both mechs and increase use count and decrease cooldown by 2 minutes. Main tank. This one's actually pretty cool. Reduce stamina by 30%. Increase HP by 125. Maybe like 75. Taunts enemies when shooting them, greatly increasing aggro. So their focus is going to go towards you. Enemies can detect from further away. Health regen over time. Make it slow. No ragdolls. Main tank. Beefcake. Heavy only. So this armor is going to be heavy only. And pyro. 100% fire resistance to own flamethrower and 75% to enemies. Oh, so enemies do less damage to you as well. Increase fire dot duration and fire AoE lifetime by 10 to 25%. Fire AoE slows bugs by 10%. Okay, so these seem crazy. These seem off the wall wacky. But they're also kind of fun. I would never in a million years expect any of this to happen. Although if like one or two of them did happen, it'd be kind of sick. Especially main tank. Could you imagine being able to get aggro on bugs? This is not too far off. Having the ability to aggro bugs with like a bug spray or like a bug lure or some kind. Like that one does not seem too far-fetched. And then this is one of the cooler things on this list. So capes serve as stat trackers. Example, medic cape tracks number of allies you've healed and how much you've healed them for. Cape bonuses are essentially modifiers to increase the game's difficulty in wild ways. Capes give more experience based on how brutal the modifiers are and how many you have active. Host can turn off cape modifiers. Cape, the creek cape. Decrease ammo received from ammo boxes. Okay, what the? It makes the game harder, I guess, and the devs might love that one. 10% experience and samples. The breach. Breaches happen 100% more often. 15% experience and samples. Judgment. Getting too far from teammates marks you as a traitor. 15% experience and samples. All right, two of these are actually pretty lame, but the devs would love them. I feel like for modifiers, that's kind of sick. Because modifiers to me are done better in games when the player has choice. When you can choose to make the game more difficult and then get rewarded for it, and if you don't want it, you don't have to have it, that's awesome. And if nothing else, I would like it. It'd be kind of cool if you could showcase your stats a little bit. As if everyone cares about experience, though. What do you mean? There's plenty of folks that care about experience. There's tons of folks that are like, all I have to do in the game right now is grind for 150. So in saying that, maybe we shouldn't give experience because then it makes their grind over quicker. And they check that box faster and then play the game less. Arrowhead, don't give more experience. You'd only decrease the grind for players that they've arbitrarily made for themselves. Yeah, mark who's a traitor is Traitor Barrage. Yeah. Or mark who's a traitor means that your teammates have to shoot you. I don't know. Imagine. Nah. Honestly, I'd be like, no orbitals or eagles. Yeah, we'll do that. And then, like, I think turrets are their own thing. Oh, by the way, these are made by Furabell. I'm pretty sure. I hope. If not, then I forgot. It's been a while. This is how you make the game more challenging in a way that is more meaningful. It gives players choice, gives player rewards, and I think it makes a lot more sense than just making things bad in the first place.